Good afternoon. Welcome to another artist conversation. And today is Chris Shopland, who is fantastic portrait abstract artist. He does some phenomenal things. Oh, excuse me. With texture. So I'm very, very excited to talk to this very talented artist who's also been a part of Art Battle Bath, I believe. Good morning, Shazza. So very excited. I do enjoy people who can operate in the abstract universe. Something I'm playing with myself, and I find it taking quite interesting. Yeah, so excited to see what will come. Oh, it's exciting times ahead. Oh. Whoops. So yeah, just waiting. Here he is now. Excellent. I never know how to know when they're gonna arrive, so ta-da!
When you turn around?
Oh, sorry, landscape. Sorry, not portrait. I think I told you the wrong thing. Good morning, I'm so sorry. Afternoon, I mean.
Oh, just got to make sure we don't.
I'm so sorry. I'm so used to saying it landscape, and I can't believe I told you portrait. Ah, perfect.
You.
There you go. Hi, how are you?
No, I'm really good. It's good to be here and well, this virtual here anyway that you've created. So yeah, excited.
Excellent. So if we could start with a brief introduction of who you are, and then we'll crack on with the conversation.
Okay, so yeah, let's get started. So yeah, I'm Chris. I'm from Bristol in the UK. I've been going under the name Extemporary Art for a few years now, since returning back to art after a little break. And I feel like that really sort of encapsulates what I'm about, because it's all about sort of unprepared, no preparation. And although I have a reference photo, I kind of distort it to my liking, so I don't really follow it exactly. So I have this sort of idea get beamed in, and then I have to try and work out how on earth to get to that end goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of adding paint on, taking it away, and yeah, the early stages are quite ugly.
Well, I must say, I wrote it down because you have somewhere in your Instagram feed that explains the artist's name that you go under, and it's spoken or done without preparation. And I love that. I think it's the most terrifying thing to do, but I love it. And I love that how you've maintained a proper style. Like all your portraits, if I now see a portrait and I don't know that it's you, I could probably say quite confidently that it's you, because you manage to capture a lot of movement, a lot of energy in your application as well. I can't wait to go into the layering that it must take for you to achieve some of the spectacular texture. And I'm a texture freak. I really enjoy it. So getting to stalk you and really like knuckling down into your stuff today has been, and yesterday has been really, I felt really happy when I've been looking at your stuff. I feel like you capture something when it's a person, and even the animals. Like there's this wolf that you've done. Oh, I'm in love with it. I think it's just super cool. And yeah, anyway, before I just go on and on and on, what was the introduction to art for you? Was it as a child, later on in life? How did you come to your love of art?
Yeah, so I've always painted. I don't have this memory myself as such, but yeah, my mum sort of retold it where I'm 4 years old and I'm just splashing paint at the canvas, but not hitting the canvas. It's going everywhere, like all the kitchen, but the canvas is still white. So yeah, that's the early memory of it. And then potato prints, the usual sort of setup for it. But there was also this sort of cartoon dinosaur course I went on where with
Yeah.
all the kids, but I was just determined to go. So yeah, art's always been kind of in my life. And then after uni, I took a few years off because the deadlines, and I was just creating a conveyor belt of oil paintings that
Yeah.
I didn't work in oil. I work in acrylic now, and I was kept getting pushed to try oils.
Yeah.
So I remember having 5 paintings in a row, painting each one in sort of the same colour along them, and I was just thinking, why am I doing this? So yeah, I took a little bit of a break to sort of find myself as an artist and to discover the style, which has come just from playing really. Just I think art should be about playing, and my art's very much that tightrope between lightness and representation, but also that abstraction and sort of trying like an essence.
Well, I think you capture it, I must say, quite beautifully, because I try not to sort of read, because I love that you also provide on your Instagram a little bit of insight, and you are quite engaging with your Instagram audience as to like, is this done? How are you guys feeling? Like, I've seen a couple of those conversations, and I love how there's like this joint collaboration between you and the people who, like, you're so open to their feedback, but it still doesn't seem to affect necessarily your style, which I always love when an artist shows you their process or tells you when they struggle throughout a canvas, like, oh, you should have seen this 3 layers ago, you wouldn't recognize it. And because I'm such a new artist in my heart, like I'm old in my brain, but in my heart and actually doing it, I'm quite new. Seeing artists like you that I really admire and I just follow because I like what you do is really encouraging for me. Like, okay, because I'm venturing towards more abstract stuff now, so it was really quite great that I stumbled upon your stuff today, because you've given me a sense of like texture you've really brought to the forefront of my mind, and I've been afraid of that for quite a long time, but I think you've made me a bit braver today, so thank you. It's the way that you sort of engage with your audience is really, really refreshing, because a lot of people don't want to tell you when they struggle or what they go through, but your art page is really accessible, and I think it's great what you've done. So that's so cool. And how did you find, if I can ask, because you said you took a few years off after uni, and I also find a lot of people struggle because they want to study art but have to spend so much time to almost unlearn what they've learned to find, you know, their style again, or to not have the pressure. So how was it for you to make that decision to take a few years off? How did it make you feel?
It wasn't really my decision. It kind of happened, and then there was a day where I kind of just really needed art because, well, I've had mental health through my life. Didn't really know there's mental health till recently, and yeah, art. Going back to art was kind of like almost like therapy. And then it wasn't really. There's a point where I started thinking about taking it not seriously, but sort of putting it out there more, and yeah, and that's when things started changing, where it became more of a lifestyle, and it became more. I was able to actually call myself an artist at that point. I haven't sold much, but things started to sell through the art battles and that sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, with uni, it wasn't really a decision to stop, but yeah, I'm very glad I sort of restarted. I can't remember. No, I can't remember if I missed anything.
Oh no, it was just, how did it make you feel to take a break from art to kind of, you know, how was that process for you? I think you've answered it perfectly. Thanks. No, because I always find it, you know, the thing to, when you sit down and you're desperate to be creative, like you've got 2 hours and your brain's like, nah, not today. No, thank you. And that's always incredibly hard, is to find that way to find your style again and be reinvigorated to get back to it, I think. Because studying it does, I don't know that it takes away from art. I think you learn an incredible amount of techniques and different things, and you've got creative space and people around you, which is great. But how much of that affects your style? How much of it, you know, maybe stops you being as creative as possible? So I think it's really great that you took a break, but even better that you're back, because I'm very excited about it. So do you now, are you doing your art full time now, or do you work alongside your art?
Well, it's kind of by default really, because with my mental health, I can't work because I've tried many jobs and crash and burned really. I've done support work, I've done sports massage therapist, I've done home insurance. I've done it all really, and it all kind of ended the same way. So fatigue and all that sort of stuff. So art really is the only thing that I find that I can do that doesn't ask too much of me and isn't pressure. I have weeks where I don't paint at all, and then have a flurry like this week where I've just painted constantly. So it's kind of a balance. And my camera's actually propped up in a Van Gogh book at the moment. So I love this life.
Well, that's that's awesome to find out that it's given you such a relief from the mental health stuff. And how have you found, if we can just like stay on this point a little bit, I think it's been quite incredible how in this lockdown, everyone's been so concerned with like physical fitness, mental health, and being creative. Like 3 things we don't encourage as a society at all. And now it's at the forefront, like make sure you call each other. And how do you feel this will affect sort of people getting back to their creativity to maybe address their anxiety or the way they feel during this lockdown? Like,
well, it's interesting. I've been watching Grayson's Art Club, and there's a lot of people on there who've taken up paints for the first time in like years, and that's made people think about what they loved as a child or what they have missed in the sort of rat race of life. And I struggled in my own creativity in the pandemic in the first couple of weeks of lockdown, and that's where the self-portraits came from, because it just meant I could still move that brush around and still play around with technique, but only keeping it to like 3 colour palette, so it's all purple. And then when I ran out of purple, I stopped. But the idea was it's meant to be a 90-day challenge, because that's the time that we were given. The shielding people was told 12 weeks, I think it was, and so I was going to do it for the whole weeks, but it ended up being, I think, 12 in the end, I think.
Oh, well, it's still an amazing thing. I think everyone's also preoccupied that you have to be super productive. It's a pandemic. Like, it's okay to sit and just feel the way that you feel. Everyone feels so different, I'm finding, but similar. It's very strange. And so now, if I can talk to you specifically connected to your artwork, what is your proudest moment to date?
Well, there's been like a few sort of milestones recently. 2020 was really set out to be a good year, and then of course all this happened. So I was due to be painting at Upfest last weekend in Bristol, so one of, I think, Europe's biggest street art festival, but that would have been amazing, and it's been rescheduled for sort of to be confirmed. So hopefully at the end of summer maybe we'll, depending on how things go. But I'm just waiting to hear back from them. But that's probably
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Most exciting. And then of course all the art battles before that were quite definitely pushed my art, because what I hadn't realised is although I work quite quick, I'll paint for 5 minutes, then wait for it to dry. And I didn't have that. You don't get that chance. Of course, you get 20 minutes, and it's wet and wet, because acrylics maybe take 20 minutes to dry, so they're drying after you finished. So it's there's quite a few failed attempts and a lot of desperate trying to pull it back again in the last 2 minutes. But there's one particular art battle Bath, which I think my second art battle that went quite well, got through to the next round. But, I think that's the one.
Yeah, I was looking. Is that the one with the lady and her eyes are closed?
Yes. Yeah.
I forgot, because I don't know the name of it. Sorry, but the one. Oh no, that's not the one. Anyway, how was I've had the luxury, while I find this lady, of interviewing everyone, because my friend has organized Art Battle London, Alice, and I had 5 of the artists on Artist Conversation, and it was amazing how they were so accomplished, and they were really nervous for that 20 minutes. They were like, like all of them were ordering canvases to have a little, not a practice because obviously you don't know what you're going to do on the day, but just to help them with the timing, because like you say, 20 minutes for it to dry, you've only got 20 minutes. So how was your bath one in particular? Because I really resonated with the one that you did there. That was the 2019 or 19, right?
In 2019, I think. I don't know what, but there's one, that particular art battle seems to just go really well. Like everything just seems to, that's kind of that zone where everything just works. So it's complete opposite to all the other. I think I've done 4 others and they were a disaster, but that particular night, just, I don't know, everything just seemed to work. And I actually didn't take quite enough paint, so I ran out of paint, so I had to change my tactic halfway through.
Oh my God, that's more. I love stories like this.
So yeah, the idea was to have like a full black background, and then of course the black ran out. So it ended up being black and red, but then all the other colours ran out, so I had to pick bits of paint off the canvas to add onto another bit of the canvas, and it was just it's still sold though, and it still got me through to the next round. But yeah, that was quite a so yeah, on the next round I took far too much, but yeah.
Is this the one Art Battle Bath in July?
I can't remember what month it was.
Well, I think this is the one. Sorry, let me just get this contraption to release my phone so I can show you. This is the one, right?
Yeah, that was the second round. So there was 4 of us competing in.
Yeah, I didn't mean I just think it's just stunning. And for you to be able to produce that in 20 minutes is, I don't know, I think that's incredible. So I'm blown away by the things that you get to spend lots of time on, and that is really, really awesome. It's very, very cool. So sorry, you were carrying on with your proudest moments or milestones. So we've had Art Battle and...
Yeah, Art Battle. I sold a painting recently to a friend. So that was the first one that's really the first original sold at full price, the asking price, and the price I thought it was worth. Basically, it was good.
Yeah,
it was a good moment.
That's awesome. How do you feel just as a side, because when I talk to my collective, we have to price our artwork. And not to say how much they are, but how do you feel that process is for you as an artist? Do you feel the older that you're getting, you're putting more value behind your artwork?
Well, it's a difficult one because I've been to a few art galleries and I've seen similar work to my own, and they're selling for 4 times the price, sort of thing, if not more. And it's still quite a big flurry of scribble and less of a representation than my stuff. And so I started taking away the emotion from it though, because I used to go, well, that feels like a round. But I started doing the sort of charge by the square inch and then times it, and I actually times it by less than what it's probably worth, but just to get sort of some sort of system in place, because it was getting very difficult where you're going, I love this one's worth this much, and then you can have £10 that one. So you need some.
I think that's key to, especially when you don't have an agent yet, or it's really important for you to appreciate the amount of years you've studied, the debt you've incurred from your studying, all the techniques, the hours of throwing canvases against walls or wanting to. That's what people need to understand and appreciate. All that stuff has led you to be able to, you didn't just pick up a paintbrush and do the work you do now. That's years and years of you honing your skill and practicing as often as you can. And I think that's what people don't appreciate. And artists as well. I have to say to, myself included, realistically understand that if you're selling art as a commercial artist, you need to understand the profit is not for you to live large, have a jet ski, and it's for you to live and progress your career and and save some and live a life. So you need to take your art very seriously when you price it, I think, because it is your soul on a paper, and especially you've developed your style so beautifully that I think, yeah, it's important that you take that time now to also, like you were saying, was a great point, is going to other galleries. You know, have a look at what work that's very similar to your own is being charged for out in the world, and research those artists, understand why those are those prices, you know. I think that's a very, very good way to do it. So,
and it does come down to
sorry, I
how,
just, a side note, I was like, oh, you're an artist. What do you think about this?
no, it does come down to how well known they are before they start pricing as well, because some of
Of
them
course.
known before they've even got into art. A lot of these celebrity people go, oh, I'll be an artist now, and then they've got already, haven't they? So you got to
Yeah.
but,
And that is a pity, but I do think it's important that, you know, we keep working with the networks that we have on Instagram, and, you know, luckily through all of this, you know, I have a pop-up gallery in London that hopefully when this all opens, you know, I'm happy to extend the invitation to you to exhibit there, because I appreciate the time you've taken today to let me know and others know how you go through your style, how you come about doing the things that you do. So I think it is tough to get known and get out there, but there are other routes, you know what I mean? You don't have to be stuck in a gallery somewhere or know the right people. You can make movements, and, you know, I hope that you do take us up on our offer. We'd be happy to have you. But now, on the back side of your sort of proudest moments, if you could take me through maybe your most apprehensive or scary time connected to your art, and what that was like for you.
that's probably right now. I'm probably facing my fear of being on camera, and
Doing wonderfully.
but yeah, I said yes to it, and then you said it was going to be live, and then more fear came in. But yeah, it's not been too bad actually. It's been fine. So yeah, all that sort of promotional stuff where you try and put yourself out there, and I had thought about a YouTube channel or going live, just painting and things, and it's different when you're talking to the camera and there isn't that kind of a co-host. Like you bring a lot of good spirit to it, and it's much easier.
Oh yeah, much easier to talk to someone for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably the number one fear, is just putting my face out there and being on video.
Well, we had this sorry, this wonderful lady Zoe from a PR agency. She came on, and it's on our YouTube channel. But a friend of mine was saying, how do you do the promoting if you're not comfortable in front of the camera? And some great advice that she had given him was, people do love to see a process. If they can't get to know, if you're not super comfortable just yet getting yourself out there, you know, she said, film a lot of your process, which you already do. So maybe there's a way for you to find a comfortable medium. But I think the more you get your process across to people, then you don't need to necessarily be in front of the camera all the time, because they still have something to emotionally connect with, and it you know, isn't you for now, and maybe that'll help build you up to do more of this, because I think you come across really well. You're very clearly spoken. I think the fear is only in your mind, and sadly for all of us, it really is only in our mind.
Well, it is all just a mindset, isn't it? And what I'm looking forward to is, now I've got over this a little bit, then just have like a painting afternoon, just have some, well, I have to look at copyright with music, but yeah, it'd be good to just have a bit of a chill and just see where it goes. And then,
yeah, I think really, because I do really love through, then once I found how I felt about your artwork, going through your stuff and reading the comments between you and your followers, it's so nice. It's so great to see how your work progresses, but also how you include people and the things behind some of your stuff. Like, you have this one quote that you've used that I thought was so poignant for the time. So I'm going to discuss that with you when we get to, oh, actually, that's great segue into the pandemic question. Actually, you had on one of your paintings a quote from Jack Gilbert, Big Magic. It says, we must risk delight. We must have the stubbornness to accept our gladness in the ruthless furnace of this world. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. If I can just, how did you come across that quote?
okay,
And how does it relate to artwork?
okay, so that's a book by Elizabeth Gilbert. she does go on to say that they're not related. It's just same surname. But so she's written Big Magic, but she's more known for her Eat, Pray, Love. So that was what brought her to fame. But the Big Magic I keep going back to because she reads it on Audible, and I'm not sponsored, but wasn't sure about mentioning brand names, but she just brings a lot of. I sometimes listen to her while painting because she just brings a lot of encouragement to the process of being creative. She's a writer, but she also talks about other creatives in that book and the process of having an idea come to you as a sort of almost like a spiritual practice of being given this chance to create this idea that you've been given. And it's just a really really beautiful book, but I just wish it was a bit longer because it seems to just cut off abruptly at the end. So that's my only thing, where it could have done with another chapter just to sort of wind you down from this magical world, really.
Yeah, I hate when authors do that, when you're so emotionally invested and you're like, what? But I need another, at least a book. Come on, what are you doing? Yeah, I read it and it really just sat with me. I was like, wow, and you do that very well. You put a lot of different quotes throughout your posts. I really enjoy that. Must say I've enjoyed your Instagram very, very much. I'm sorry I sound a little bit creepy because I may say things that you're like, that was many years ago. But it's been really great because you do, where's this one thing that I wanted to talk about, the flowers that you did.
Yes.
They've like a 9 square on your Instagram. Could you talk us through that? Because that one for me, your animals, the way that you portray them, the dream catcher, it's all still very much your style. But this one for me was like still super beautiful, but like so different to what you've done before. How was this one for you?
There's quite a story there because I do these kind of abstract, kind of alien type things that kind of talk about that feeling of being different, of the way I think, and mental health and that stuff. But they came out really ugly, like looked really like monsters, and they kept staring at me. And I thought I'd paint over them at some point. And a friend of mine who I met at the art battles invited me over just to do like a still life. But rather than stand these paintings down, which are really lumpy and textural and things, I just sort of, almost like icing a cake, really, sort of just picking up a lot of paint and sort of playing with the difficulty of painting on texture. So it kind of was born out of the limitations with that, really. And then the yellow is a nod to Van Gogh's Sunflowers. So it's kind of playing with that. So I just really wanted to see how little I could put on a canvas and still capture the lilies that were in front of us. So yeah, kind of from the ugly monster type thing was born something quite beautiful. So I like playing with that sort of idea of the ugly stages of like the first layers where it looks like it's ruined and can't be saved, and then it's brought back from that moment, from the ashes. And the painting that I actually sold was actually 2 failed paintings before.
Oh wow, excellent.
And you're not meant to paint acrylic on oil, but because it had like 3 years or whatever to dry, it really creates this really weird sort of where the acrylic sort of like reacting to it. And it's still on the canvas years later, so I think I got away with it. So,
yeah, that's awesome. And so how, if we go back to that sort of saying, I thought it was quite poignant during this lockdown, and how, besides, as I read through your feed, I know you've run out of a lot of materials and you've spent some time waiting for deliveries. How has the pandemic affected your life during this time?
Well, it's been really hard to adjust because I was diagnosed with ADHD last year, and I was using CrossFit to really sort of help with focus. So it's been really difficult to try and do that at home, but it's a really good community. So I get a lot of the workout sent to me, and it's just been motivation, really. It's just been motivation and equipment, and so I've just been using kettlebells and things. But yeah, fitness, art, and eating healthy is kind of what keeps me going, really. But it's been weird sort of doing it at home, all under the same pace. So
Yeah.
you go, okay, I'm seeing my friends today, but it's on Zoom. I'm doing this promotion, but it's on the phone, and then then you're doing the fitness, and that's on the computer or all by yourself. And it's just it's been difficult being like an introverted extrovert artist, and then this pandemic happens on top of it. So it's kind of that. I'm used to having moments of painting on my own, but then I would go out and see some friends for a bit for some relief, and then come back. And it's been strange just trying to get into that sort of rhythm, really. And lockdown time has been very weird, and my sleep pattern and eating has gone all I don't know what's happened there, but
Oh God, mine is terrible. I used to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, ready to go. I mean, I'd work at 7:30. So now I wake up comfortably at 7, which I'm not happy about because I go back to work next week. So I'm like, right, I need to actually get up at 5 every morning. And this morning I was like, no. So I'm so sad about it because I feel really safe and secure and happy at home. But whenever I open Facebook, Instagram, any of that, I'm devastated. I can't watch it for very long. I'm frustrated with the government. I don't know who's lying to me, who's telling me the truth. And I think it's where a lot of people are, you know what I mean? And I miss people. I really like people a lot more than other people do. I realize that some people don't like people, and that's cool. I will like them. I'll take all your extra people and I'll like them. Because, I've been struggling a little bit with that. But it's great to see that, like you talked about with your CrossFit community being so supportive, finding ways for us to still be together and do these things. It's not really the same, of course, but it's so important that, you've tried to at least find a way and stick to sort of some routine. But your sleep patterns, I don't know what's happening there, but I'm up to 1 in the morning. I go to bed at 9. I am a complete grandma. Everyone takes the piss out of me. Now I'm 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe I'll go to bed. It's crazy. Sorry, carry on.
No, it is a whole idea of thinking, I don't have to get up tomorrow, there's nothing really, and you think, but I do want to paint, and I do want to do this, and it's very, I suppose I haven't got that job to sort of structure it in a way, so there is that, but I find art really just gives me that structure to sort of, but it is my job really. That's what I do.
And that is so awesome to find. I do want to talk to you a little bit while we're in this question, if you don't mind, about the Picasso squares that you did. I know you've mentioned it really lightly with it being a 90-day challenge earlier. But are these all self-portraits? If you could talk us a bit through it. And what I'll do is I'll show you guys on my screen the pictures. But if you don't mind talking to us a little bit about why you did this, the process behind them.
So, this started off with just not knowing how to be creative in the pandemic. Usually ideas come to me really fast, and suddenly I had no ideas. I had a creative block. So I thought, with self-portrait, it's been used throughout time, hasn't it? We're always available. So so what happened with the portraits was a really limited palette, so just blue, red, and white. However that came out, but it seemed to get more towards the purple prose and the sort of sort of like Picasso's blue phase in a way, and they're all under an hour. So the longest one was an hour. Most are 20 minutes, 10 minutes. So they're really quick. And at some point, I want to revisit a self-portrait using a full palette and taking more time over it, see if I can get them more to the standard of this portrait artist of the week thing. And it just really gave me a bit of structure during when I felt like the world was falling apart, and I think that was soon after all the gyms shut and my sort of my coping mechanisms were just dropping away one by one, and all I had left was my paints and myself really. So I collected stuff from the studio because it's weird because I finally decided to have a studio, and then 4 months later this happened. So
I literally took a career break from my job, so like a sabbatical, for 3 months just to do more exhibitions, spend a bit more time at galleries, do events. I literally took it at the beginning of COVID, and we're literally all going back together. So I've said to people at my job, I'm like, if I leave for 3 months, we don't have to shut the whole world down. We just calm down. I'm coming back in 3 months. It's all relaxed. But it's terrible. I had all this planned out, exciting stuff to do, and this like whole year, all exhibitions already done, ready to go, and it's just been quite the year. Really, really has.
yeah, I mean, I was also looking at for Sally's show as well. So I was just in the process.
What did you say? It cut out?
Yeah, I was just in the process of looking for like venues to see whether Sally's show might be possible, and I was actually going to book it for March.
Yeah.
So it's so good I didn't.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we went to, my last night out was at a photography exhibition by the fantastic Brian Maynor, who happens to be an A&E clinician as well. And on our last night out, it was so weird to know, like, looking at all these people we're not going to see. Like, we made jokes, but we're like, oh, this is our last night out. But it really was like our last night out, and it's been such a weird feeling in London. I don't know if it's the same where you live, but it's felt like a small village, and it's a very strange to have your neighbors try to talk to you in London. I don't know if you know, but Londoners are super rude. I actually miss how rude we are. We used to barge past each other in the street, don't care. I'm dying for that back again. But yeah, it's just it's a very strange time. But in talking about, sorry, if we can stick to portraits just a little, how do you find, because obviously you do portraits of other people, when it comes to doing a self-portrait, is there any difference? How does that feel?
I find self-portrait so much easier because you're constantly studying yourself, be it photos or mirror. Not that you're vain, but you always sort of catch yourself as you're walking past, and you seem to have that relationship with yourself in family photos, or so you've had time to really look at your face and know like little tricks you can do to make it you, even if it's not, even if it's not fully you, you capture something of you.
Yeah.
With, I hope it's okay to go onto this bit, but with the portrait artist of the week, I thought I'd challenge myself and go back to observational drawing, because that's kind of what the pandemic's done, is brought me back to the basics, the fundamentals of like really looking and drawing and painting.
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple of your sketches, and you keep saying how you want to get back to more observational art. Yeah. So how's that going?
Yeah, because they're celebrity sitters on this, because through the Portrait Artist of the Year's Facebook page, they've been putting on a weekly pandemic celebrity sitter. And because it's a face we all know and love, and it's well known, suddenly you have this pressure to try and get it more like a physical likeness, where I don't think I really see people. I think I just see their sort of their essence and their mannerisms and who they are. So to then capture that in a physical 2D made into 3D, it's a real challenge, and I keep just using humour to sort of get past that self-doubt, because I know other artists probably have the same issue of trying to capture that likeness. So my latest one, which was meant to be Will Young, I think it looks more like Hugh Laurie in House. I think it looks more, because I got to about maybe 2 hours in, and I realised his face wasn't wide enough, and I thought, too late now. So yeah,
I've done that so many times. I've had to start because I've just come. I do a life drawing class every Sunday, so I'm just coming into portraits, because we normally have a live model, and I always decapitate. Like the body, I love it. I'm all about it. Male, female, don't care. The face terrifies me, because, you know, when I see you capture the essence of the person, plus maintain your style, work with that level of texture. And then I want to come to your color palette in a minute after this, because there's a point you made now, and I've probably forgotten it, but I know what point I have to make. And now I've lost the point of what I'm saying now. Oh yes, to watch an artist like you maintain, especially in portraits, because I already look like this. like I'm an artwork, I'm already designed, I'm done. So to maintain your style and keep a likeness, I think that's an incredible achievement. But if we can talk now, because obviously the portraits and stuff like that, sorry if I've interjected and interrupted you. If I haven't, then okay, cool. But I really, your color, for lack of a better term, your color theory, I feel kind of like when I look at your artwork, I feel the aura around this subject matter. Even your what's they called, Dreamcatcher that you did, even your background, it's the color palette that you use. How do you have a plan? Is it I don't know, but it's beautiful. I mean, sorry, I have to show you guys what I'm talking about because this is a little better than me just going, oh, it's beautiful. But if you have a look at the beginning works of these, I think this captures, you know, what I'm talking about quite nicely. But you do it with your wonderfully, and you do it with your portraits as well. There's so much emotion and movement in your application. So with color specifically, how do you work out the color palette you're going to use?
Well, that's going to be like quite a long answer because it comes quite intuitive. It comes quite naturally for me. So I can actually see colours within colours. So I know that needs a bit more yellow, but I've not been taught that. I've just I can see what it needs.
So it's all instinctual.
Mostly. I do think back to complementary colours, the opposites on the colour wheel, but that's kind of about it. I've kind of forgotten some of my other. I did do colour theory, but it didn't really go in. I kind of knew it.
Yeah.
But I'm probably breaking a lot of rules because of that. So yeah, it's kind of
excellent. I love that.
And yeah, I can see colours within the colour, and I can see what it needs.
Yeah, because I think the thing that you said that triggered it for me was I didn't really quite know what it was. I was like, there's something like the background. It feels like an aura, and I didn't know how to sort of communicate that. But when you just said now how you sort of see colours, I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, and I do get through a lot of white though, so I don't know if that's like a professional, tried and tested method. But yeah, I get through a lot of white, just bring down the hue and things. Yeah.
But it is quite stunning because they're so vivid, but you still capture an emotion. Like I can see some of the portraits that don't necessarily look like they're smiling and they're happy, but they feel sad, like some of them, but some feel happy because of the way that, you know, you've used that color to portray that. I think it's really come across beautifully.
Yeah,
and so now, is there anything in particular that you're working on at the moment?
So yeah, before this whole pandemic happened, I mean, I'm still working on it, but I've been working on a London show with like another artist. So it's her vision. So you know, she's known as Very Sesh Model on Instagram. So that's SESH. I'll put some more on my stories.
What we'll do after this is get any references that you've made to anyone in particular. We'll post it on our story as well, so you guys can go see these artists. So yeah, we'll do it too.
So yeah, what we're working on is body positivity in like the light of social media.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's all I can really say, really. But it's going to be a lot of her image through life drawing, and yeah, we're going to just play around with that. Really, there's more to come, but yeah, that's what
awesome.
I can say.
No, that's great. Little teaser for us. Keep us watching you, huh? You're drawing stuff. Let's see. I like it. That's cool. How do you come to identify a collaboration or a project when you're doing collaborations and projects?
Well, this is probably my first like collaboration I've actually accepted, because I do get the odd one coming in, and you can't get the feel for like what the premise is, what the reason is they contacted you, and sometimes it can just be that I'm not like the right fit for them. Sometimes, like if they want some hyper realistic like thing added onto their idea, I'm like I get it, very impressive, but that's not what I do. So it can be as simple as that, really, where people think you're an artist, you can do any style, where that's not always the case. And sometimes the style you do is the reason why your art's good, rather than being able to do every style. But yeah, usually I just get a feel for it. And when this one came in, we just got chatting, and just, I don't know, it's something that I do believe in, and it will be interesting from a male perspective to sort of see how that sort of develops, because
Absolutely.
I still don't fully know what her vision is yet, but I'm just enjoying being given this reference material and just playing around with it, really.
Yeah, that's cool, because like I speak quite a bit with a lot of the female artists. I call it a very top line level of feminism. I just like pay women, like just pay us the same, give credit where it's due. And because I don't think you can move anything forward without everyone. So, you know, like we need men to stand next to us when there's these things that maybe it's not you particularly oppressing me as a female, but you know your gender's role in providing that for me. So for you to stand next to me in my feminist movement is going to do a lot more than me standing against you. So I think it's fantastic when male and female artists come together about something and I've actually discovered that men are a lot more sensitive about their bodies than I ever thought they could be. You know, I did an art show and tried to get some of my male friends to pose just the torso. There wasn't going to be a face or anything. And so many of them were really too self-conscious. And I was like, but you're in the gym. These are guys that aren't particularly they're in shape. And they were even self-conscious. So it's been quite interesting. And I really look forward to that. Please let us know when you're going to release it to the world, and we'll promote it with you.
Definitely.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, she's done like a small demo which went well, so I'll let you know when the date. Well, we don't know all, do we, right now, because of we can't plan anything.
Yeah, really, we can't plan anything. I'm just coming. I have to go to work and go to Waitrose or grocery shopping. That's what I know I need to do. That's all I can plan for the moment, and I don't even plan that too far in advance. I'm like, I'll go on Monday, see how it goes. So cool. And now we come to my absolute favorite question. Oh, I love this one. What if there is no limitation whatsoever? What is the absolute dream for you as an artist, as your brand? Either one, both. Tell me everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, but yeah, it's difficult to think that far ahead, but what I'd really like is just to be more collaborations with other artists, more of these artist conversations, because I love watching them as well. It's been
cool. Thanks.
I've got more to watch. There's been some great ones, and and just it'd be nice to get to the point where not necessarily living off the art, but if the art can start paying for itself, like supplies and the art studio, and that's kind of where my first sort of step on the ladder, as it were, where it starts. Yeah, so the cost of it is being covered by the art, which would be amazing.
Okay, but I am going to be that person that just pushes you. If you had all the money, if it was like, here's unlimited funding, you don't have to give it back to anyone. There's no government in your way. Like, what would be the ultimate dream? Like, you could go to a different planet if you want. Like, I've seen your space stuff, which I'm glad I made that joke, because it's really cute, and I can't wait to see more of that. It's so random in all your beautiful portraits. The cutest little weird art about aliens just pops up in different galaxy backgrounds, but it's really, really cool. I like that theme of space, that like dots just in and out of your thread. So what's the dream? I'm pushing you, Chris.
So I think the real challenge is to try and get beyond the canvas. It's just like nice on the wall.
Yeah.
I'd love to do more community projects. I haven't been
there we go.
Given the opportunity, but as kind of what Upfest was, I was hoping that'd be like the catalyst for painting bigger, basically. Because I mean, I paint all sizes, but I haven't quite got beyond 4 foot square yet. So it was going to be 8 by 4 foot, and that would be amazing. And I think yeah, just trying to find communities that maybe art can bring something to that, or because I'm always
Awesome.
that kind of narrative where it can be a story and it can bring change, because art and
Yeah.
work can be powerful and they can bring about change. So I'm always looking for that kind of that angle where, because I'm always told that the art brings a lot of positivity and the color palette, and it's kind of, well, I think about this before doing this actually, where if you had art where it was just the technical side and you didn't have any emotion into it, it can't be like music where you don't have the feeling of it and you're just doing it in a mathematical kind of precise way. It wouldn't have the same connection, would it? It wouldn't have that same feel. So I guess that's what I'm looking for, is connection with the art. And I'm always, it's a big question mark in my art right now. How can I go beyond just painting on canvas, and how can I bring it to the community, and how can I connect to people through art, basically? So
Oh,
yeah,
well, awesome. I love that. I'm so glad that I pushed so hard. Good. Get on big things. I'm excited about it. But that's the great thing about this, is I think when we come out of this, I mean, I've been introduced to some amazing mural artists, and, you know, I'd love to set up some time where we can all network together and be able to, you know, through these conversations, create a network of artists that feel free to, you know, invite each other to things, start to support each other, because I think we all know now more than ever after this pandemic that showing up and participating for one another, sharing things for each other, it's a way that you can support without physically supporting. But I hope that after this, people appreciate their physical support is so, so, so important as well, because we really miss each other. But I'm here for it, man. The community painted by you, very colorful, really cool. I like that. Awesome. Okay, well, if we can just talk about how people can contact you for any commissions or any work that they might be interested in buying from you, if you could just take us through your contact points.
So yeah, probably the best place would be here on Instagram, because it's the one I sort of check and update the most often.
Yeah.
I'm also on Facebook. I am on Twitter, although that's I don't understand it. So that's, yeah. So more followers would be great. I do update on there and put quotes and things occasionally. So it is active, but it needs some more love. And yeah, so Instagram message if you just want to talk about art, or want to talk about collaborations, possible projects, or just want to have a chat. So yeah.
Awesome. And also, as we come to the end, I just wanted to touch on, you have a site, Redbubble, where you have scaled your artwork to products. I love that. And one of the guys in my collective, Vivek, does the same. I just wanted to talk to you. How, like, I'm sorry, I think it's so cool. Your mugs are awesome. How did it feel to actually, like, hold the products, like, once you had your artwork on them? Because they're really cool mugs.
Well, the only thing I have ordered are the mugs, and the wolf. It's amazing how the colours have just been brought up with that glaze. So
Yeah.
it's actually my mum that bought them actually for a present. She said I bought to my first customer. So, yeah, so lots of
See.
support there, and to hold it and just sort of turn it, and yeah, the light really hits it really well. So it was actually beyond what I thought it would be, and I've ordered a few of the stickers, and yeah, the quality is really good. And what's good about it is it means I don't have to have stock in my house, and I don't have to, because prints just lying, sort of waiting to be taken away, taken home. So yeah, it sort of
I mean, it's so cool. I know that it's not obviously like his main income or yours, but I do think it's nice to give people an opportunity to support you in a way that they can. You know what I mean? You've got a spectrum where people can buy a mug or they can buy a painting. But I really love that. So go check out his Redbubble shop, guys, and also follow him on all the things. I don't Twitter. I don't know where it is. I don't have anything to twit. But go and Twitter with him. I don't know how it works. Do it. But thank you so, so much for today. This has been amazing. I think that the things that you're going to come to, I can't wait for. And I'm just so thankful for you for sharing all your process and being so available and approachable online. It's really, really lovely. So thank you so much for taking your time to be with us today.
Thank you. Yeah,
No.
not as scary as I thought it would be. It's been brilliant.
Awesome. Well, you can watch yourself on IGTV and know that I'm not talking nonsense. I think you came across great. And thank you guys all so much for sticking with us, and I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, it'll be up on IGTV and then onto YouTube in maybe a month or two. So yeah, let you guys know. And we'll post as well anything that Chris went through today, any other artists he wants to reference, we'll post that on. And go check out our story. It's got loads of his artwork featured today. So yeah, thanks for having us and being with us, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Ciao.